What is going on, everybody? Yes, check out that dope background. That is made by the man, the myth, the legend, my co-host, Mr. Grant Gregory. He also made this overlay, which I thought was pretty cool. I pretend that I'm the guy on the left, not the zombie, but that looks more like Mad. But I think it's pretty freaking dope. Thank you, Mr. Grant Gregory. How are you, sir?
Doing good, mate. Doing good. Happy to talk about some potential battles coming up, and
Yeah,
maybe a little betrayal here and there from a certain Frey family that I seem to think will be swapping sides throughout the whole entire thing.
yeah, yeah. Westerosi's Whispers. Remember for 1 month. Thank you very much. Says 13 years, 8 months, and 22 days.
Oh, I wonder what that
And
refers to.
I'm wondering, Mad's dry spell. No. Wait, he has someone who likes him.
The last time Walton didn't mention the word narcissist. No, can't be that.
That can't be that. Can't be that. Can't be that. Nope. Tina's last contact with the mafia. No, no, that's been shorter. I couldn't tell you. Though that date sounds familiar. It's like July 12th, 2011, maybe. Yeah, I'm guessing that's it. Hail, everybody. We are here. We are here to talk about maybe the book that we will never get, but we still love. The Winds of Winter and A Song of Ice and Fire. Hello
We
to
don't
the
know if
lovely
we'll love
Sheer.
we don't know if we'll love the book yet. I mean,
I'm already in love with it.
I think
You know?
I think you're kind of like Rob, with,
Yeah.
with Liana. You're in love with the idea of the book.
Yeah. Okay.
You
I
don't
see
know
what
the
you're
book. You
saying.
never met the book.
No,
Yeah.
maybe saw like the cover of it like on passing and been like, ooh, that looks kind of
Yeah,
hot. You know?
and like I get Robert's perspective because I'm seriously ready to go to war over this if we don't
Yeah.
get it. Like,
Oh no.
if Rhaegar doesn't
Rebellion.
get Rhaegar, aka George, doesn't give us the book, aka
Yeah.
Lyanna,
Yeah.
we got to go to war.
All right. So now we need a meme where George is Rhaegar, you are Lyanna.
No, the book's Lyanna.
Okay, the book's Lyanna. Who am I? I could be Robert, and you could be Ned. I think that would work. You got the Ned look to you. I got the
Oh, thank God we both
Robert.
have happy endings.
Oh man, but we do have people out there, like I said, the lovely Sherry in the house. Listless receptionist in the house, zombie box reviews. And we also got some really interesting stuff from the raging Sightinist.
Sightinist.
Sightinist. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna read the Sightinist stuff in a little bit. Because I only went over the first one. I said, you know what, we'll just read it live, and if it turns out to be something crazy down the way, it'll be funny. But I don't think it is. I think it's some interesting stuff about the Battle of Ice, which we will be talking about tonight. So, for those of you who don't know, a lot of us believe, and George has talked about this in the Winds of Winter. There are certain battles. I believe he calls it like the Battle of the Snow. We call it the Battle of Ice, which is Roose Bolton and the people in Winterfell versus the true king, Stannis Baratheon, and his gang of misfits, starving to death and freezing. You also got the Blood of Fire. The Blood of Fire we have gotten bits of in Barristan Selmy's sample chapters. And there might have been a Tyrion sample chapter too that talked about it. So that's already on the way. We know that. That's going on in Marine without Khaleesi, which we'll talk about that name in a minute because it made no sense to me. And there's also a lot of people who think the Battle of Blood. Now, the Battle of Blood might just be Euron trying to raise a kraken, something, sacrificing all these religious, different sects of religions. You got like a maester, you got septa, wizards, warlocks, his own brother, drowned god priest. So, is he going to battle the red wines? I don't know, but there may be three, but we definitely know about the Battle of Ice, the Battle of Fire, and we're going to be talking about the Battle of Ice. I think I spoke enough. Your thoughts on it, Mr. Grant Gregory?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all assumptions. There was a chapter in, or the what do you call it? The new stuff. Was it Theon?
Yeah, the chapter samples.
Yeah, was it Theon that mentioned about stuff? So I
Yes,
mean, that's basically what we're going off. So,
right.
um,
So Theon's the only bit we've gotten from what's
yeah,
going on in the north. If that's going to still be the actual one we're talking about. And then
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I kind of feel like what's going to happen is it's going to look like they're going to lose. Stannis is going to pull something out of his hat, which will show that he's kick ass.
mhm,
Because I think we need a little bit more Stannis love.
I'm with you.
I definitely think that probably the phrase or someone is going to betray the Boltons when it looks like they're going to lose.
Right. Well,
Um,
there may
I
be
think
already
I
the
think
Manderleys. Don't forget about
Roos
the
is going to
Manderleys.
get Roos is going to get slaughtered.
Yep.
Um, and I think what's his name? His son. Jesus Christ, brain's not working.
Oh, Ramsey.
Ramsey. I think
Oh my
Ramsey
god,
will
I'm
get
remembering
away.
things. This is great. I'm
Yeah,
remembering things.
yeah. I think Ramsey will get away.
Mhm.
Um, and he'll have a showdown with Theon. I
Right.
think.
Right.
I think that's how it will go, and I think they will both end up killing each other in the
Right.
exchange.
And this can all wait a minute. Ramsey and Stannis or Ramsey and
No,
Theon?
Ramsey and Theon.
Yeah. Theon, yeah, his the show wah, wah, um totally botched the Jamie storyline. Now, even if Jamie's, road to redemption is a failed hero's journey, where he gets to a certain point, you think he's turned, and then he goes back to his sister. George will do it better than they did in the show. Um, Theon, though, is like the true redemption story, and what a torturous redemption story it is. I mean, he went from
I
like
just don't see a
almost,
happy ending for him. I really don't. The way in
yeah,
which
no,
George has treated him and everything, I think that what'll happen is he will kill. He'll get that kill on Ramsey, or at
hmm
least wound him
hmm
severely. But he'll get absolutely slaughtered by Ramsey.
right,
Because like though it doesn't really show it in the show,
hmm
Ramsey is way more significantly stronger than him. It's not
oh
just
yeah,
um
a mental,
a power as in, oh, my
yeah,
dad's in charge of he could. The reason he was able to be alone with when he called him Reek was
yeah,
because at any stage he could just kill him. Like he was
yeah.
physically stronger than him.
And he
Um,
took a lot from Theon too. Fingers,
yeah.
toes, he flayed
Hmm.
him, so he and his manhood. So he really took a lot from Theon. So it's not even just psychological. It's
Yeah.
also right, like you're saying, it's physical. But even on top of that, Ramsey's a good fighter. He's he
Hmm.
is very sneaky. I mean, when we first meet him, we think he's a guy named Reek, I believe. And we find out later on that he's actually Ramsey. But even if he's not doing a sneak attack, he is a formidable fighter. And it will be something to the effect where he is toying with Theon and Theon somehow gets him into a trap, makes him make a stupid move, something like that, where Theon gets the aha moment, I got you, and then dies from it.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah. No.
that maybe.
I, I can really see George doing that, giving him uh, a moment that, like what they tried to do with fucking Euron. It's like, I
Yeah,
killed Jamie Lannister. Yeah, like you didn't even fucking kill him. Like
yeah,
you couldn't kill him, but a brick could. That's how shit of a character you turned out to be.
right. And
Um,
real quick, Monster Huntress Rune, I love you. I honestly think the biggest battle will be for A Song of Ice and Fire to be 100% completed. Heck, I think my fan fiction will be done before this main book series will. And you have a valid point. And that's, I think, why we're doing this. Because in a way, it's can we figure out the best story? And we might not be able to, and George may never finish this, but I still think there's such a great story. Like we were talking about this at work, like he can't be considered one of the greats if he doesn't finish his main series. I'm sorry, like Tolkien at least finished his main trilogy. He had The Hobbit, he had the trilogy, and
I mean,
then
if Tolkien stopped at the Two Towers,
right,
that's the equivalent of it. Like,
yeah, yeah, it
it'd
really
be the
is.
worst thing that's ever happened to Two Towers ever.
Ever. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think you might have something wrong there, Australian. Um, Listless Receptionist says Jamie has to live. There is no discussion here. I'm not saying he'll die either, but he probably will. I just, All right, that's a good question for the chat. Do you think Jamie will end up back in Cersei's arms? Or will he be the Valakar? Or will he just turn over a new leaf? Like, could what's going to happen with um oh my god, the broad he's been with for most of the
Brienne. Brienne of
Brienne
Tarth.
of Toth, her decision to take the sword instead of dying when Lady Stoneheart offered it to her. Um, will that affect him? Like, will he put so much trust into her and then she literally does attempt it, but then takes it back? But the, the pain has already been there. You know what I mean? Like the action was done. So for him, he's like, no one's
Where is
more
Jamie
important.
now?
Didn't she like isn't okay, I don't know if this is in a sample chapter, my mind, or the book, but I thought he saw her and she said, "You have to come with me because I found uh one of the Stark girls." I don't think not Sansa. I think he's like, I found Arya. And that's like the last we see because she gets hung and it's like, get to the side. And she's like, Steel or something like that. I don't remember. Dude, it's been 11. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. It's been 13 years, 8 months, and 22 days. Thank you very much, Westerosi Whispers. It's like, so it's hard to remember. Anybody else? Does anybody out there know? Dude lost his hand. At least he let him go home to Castle Rock and find a decent Castellan. Yeah, right. What's up, Jane? We will. Thank you, Jane. You have always been that part of my. You're like Jiminy Cricket saying,
We're
"Don't give up,
getting World
Scott.
of
Don't give up."
Warcraft this fall.
World of War-
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's fall in Australia now. It's nice. It's nice. So it's almost winter. F Cersei, I want him to live the happy ever after with Brienne. Oh, come on. He has to get a better looking broad than that. Maybe like, after his nephew dies, Marjorie. She's hot. All right. Jamie is with Brienne. She went and got him. Okay, so he did. She did. Agreed. He and Brienne are a great couple. They are genuine love. It's like a respect. It goes from hatred of not understanding each other to mutual respect to admiration to most likely love. So just like in the show, he's going to hit it and quit it.
I mean, let's hope a pussy isn't so bad that he wants to go back and fuck his sister.
Well, I mean, he did take her V card and then promptly left like the next night and was like, I'm going
And
back to my sister.
also, I found it really, really weird in the TV series about Tyrion making a big deal about a woman being a virgin when she's a lady. Of course, she wouldn't be flowered yet. Like
Right.
it was just such a weird thing that he's just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Like it was shocking. I'm like, it would be shocking if she wasn't.
Right. Right. I mean, she's pretty shocking looking, So I don't know. I mean, in that day and age too, like we know women don't wait till they're married, but the true ladies do back in those days. Um, but before we get to that, I want to show you guys a little not a blog from our favorite author who once again gets a little upset with people. D-Day comes early and then you see winter has come. Now, I am sorry for people who don't know that those are actual dire wolves. Well, half dire wolf, I guess, and gray wolf DNA. But those are the first dire wolves in over like 10,000 years. If you did not know that, when you see winter has come, wouldn't your heart spit out your throat? Like, oh my God, the book, he's announcing it. And then he goes, I promised an exciting announcement in the last blog post of mine. The one I wrote last night that went up this morning on my not a blog, big news, blah, blah, blah. It was not going to be the delivery of Winds of Winter. Don't go there. Had nothing to do with that, but it's going to be some very cool. Now, on the other one, he's like literally being like, don't start these. Here a minute. We'll get to it. Hold on. The one from last night was, and it's a long post, so give me a second to find the other one. Holy crap. It is a very interesting post. And I was
He's
almost going to do
written
the
the equivalent of pages that he
like
needs to do
he
for that
could have
in his not a
finished
blog.
right. He could have finished the damn book, dude. Um Here it is. Something else is going to happen on April 3rd or 9th. No, I'm not announcing the completion of The Winds of Winter, the sixth volume of A Song of Ice and Fire. Please don't start any rumors to that effect. I am so tired of having to issue denials every time some offhanded
I
comment
think
of
he's
mine.
talking to you
It
specifically.
could be because, and it's pissing me off. But he goes, most having nothing to do with wins somehow convince half the internet that the book is imminent. It's not. No, maybe I need to stop making offhand comments. Well, maybe you need to finish the goddamn book. Like, you're a dick for saying that, George. I still love the man, but what it just know the room, man. Know the internet. You literally are scolding people because it has been 13 years.
And he's gone. So Scotty just rage quit. He's literally not in the back. So yeah, it's been a while since the book come out. Trying to find exactly how long it was again. It
I
has been
badly, but 13
yeah.
years, 8 months, and 22 days. Okay. I got excited. I'm sorry. Things happen when I get excited. And it's one of those things that just drives me insane that he has any balls to say you guys are the problem, not me. Like, you guys are making it hard on me. I'm sorry you have to issue some comment because people get really excited thinking that a book that has been over a decade in the making might be coming out. Our fault, George. Sorry for being excited and ruining your
Sorry, I
latte.
want to give you my $50 for the book when it comes
Exactly.
out.
Aggravating as hell, man. So, but we find out in this amazing not a blog all about how they genetically brought back dire wolves. There's two boys and a girl. Um, but these people, like, George gets to meet the dogs. The female dog, though, you know the name for the female dog? They named her
No.
Khaleesi. They named her
What?
Khaleesi.
Why?
What? Because they're morons and they don't understand what Game of Thrones is about, maybe? I don't know. Unless they didn't, and my friend was just trying at work was trying to, screw a knife in my back. But so yeah, 13,000 years ago, um, they found an inner ear bone from America Falls, Idaho. That was around 70. Wait a minute. Colossal extract DNA to direwolf fossils, a tooth from a Sheridan Pit, Ohio, 13,000 years, and an ear bone from 72,000 years. Um, and that's how crossing it with, I believe it was a gray wolf. They were able to bring back the dire wolf, which is pure white, which is pretty dope. The boys' names, here it is, Romulus and Remus, and the one female, Khaleesi. What? Why would you name it Khaleesi? Like, Liana? That would have been nice. Liana would have been good. Arya, even Sansa, not Catelyn because she is not from the north, but it's kind of weird that they named it Khaleesi.
I mean, it makes sense if you named if you did name them the female like Caitlin,
Yeah.
because she is a bitch. People can
Mm-hmm.
get away with
Mm-hmm.
saying that. So,
Yeah. It's weird too. The three litters, this
just call her
uh
Lady. Yeah, I agree,
direwolf.
Jane. That's a perfect name
That
for it.
what lady? Oh yeah,
Lady.
that was another one we brought up today at work. Like, that would have been a perfect name. One of the cool things about these pups that they've come to find out is that because they haven't been around for over 10,000 years, is that the males have a mane. So they're going to have like this big white mane if they stay white, which is, I want one. I want one of them. But then again, back to George, yeah, the winter has come. And then to get mad at people for thinking, oh my God, we're getting a release date. It's just read the room. He's at a point where he just doesn't give a crap about his fans. I don't know. So he can yell at us. They
It's
already
like being
have.
in a room full of people who are dehydrated and going, "Who's thirsty for
Right.
comedy?"
For
Yeah,
no, it's like that scene in have you ever the scene in Three Amigos where like they're in the desert and he's just chugging the
yeah.
canteen and then he throws it on the ground. He's like,
Throws it
lip
out.
him,
Yeah,
lip him. Yeah, I can
but then
understand if you
getting but
made a
then getting
raptor.
angry. Yeah. So what they've genetically engineered these dogs, essentially.
Yeah.
Can they even breed, or are they like a jackass?
No, I believe they're going to be they're viable. So I was wondering that too. No, this is they are viable. Well, can they tell yet? That my buddy at work said they are a viable species, so they're able to reproduce. I don't know if that's definitely right, but that's what he told me, which to me will be freaking awesome. Like, don't bring back saber tooths, but dire wolves, release them in the Northeast. I'll be fine with that.
Just release them in Washington.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Either of them, DC or the state.
Yeah. DC or the state, yeah. So I don't know, but George got to see him, and then also scold us for hoping that The Winds of Winter was coming out. So that's that news. Thanks, George. Um, but it'd be cool. What do you say? A Gene Theory, kind of like how Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, who was Hollywood's hottest couple at the time, ended up having a plain-looking child, multiple plain-looking children.
Because Bruce Willis is not a very attractive man; he's an ugly man, and Demi Moore has had that much surgery done to her that
Yeah.
she doesn't look like she did when she was a teenager.
No, and with Demi Moore, it's more like the voice and like how she handles herself. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
like in G.I. Jane when she went "suck my dick." I like that bit, which is funny
Yeah.
because now that's a common phrase for females.
Yeah. Bring back saber tooths. No. Cave bears. No. I don't know about those pigs. Or they
Actually,
also had
we
like the.
we,
Uh,
we had a sighting of the Tasmanian tiger here for the first time, actual proper
I thought they
footage.
went extinct
They
last
did, yeah.
century.
They did. They were culled out because I was going to say, well, if you're going to bring back stuff, why not bring back like the dodo or something?
Yeah,
You
things
know?
that just didn't make it because of us.
Yeah.
Because there's like a certain amount of species that go to extinct like every year because of climate change. People,
Well,
they're
yeah.
the
I
worst.
also want to eat a dodo bird. I want to see what it tastes like.
Yeah. Oh,
So
dodo bird, definitely. I want to eat this hell pig too. Yeah, Jane, you know what you're talking about. Um, but yeah. So that was that. I thought we'd share it because George, get mad at your fans. Yay. Anywho, um, we're going to be talking a little battle of ice and fire next. So get yourselves prepared, people, because we're going to talk. We're talking spoilers for a book that may not come out. Um, so for those who don't know what the Battle of Ice is, you have the Bolton Frey Alliance. Okay.
mhm.
In Winterfell, you have the Boltons, you have some of the Umbers, you have the Manderleys. Um, there's like half the North, right? You have the Dustins. Uh, who else? There's another couple big ones. But then you have Stannis's coalition, who have the other half of the Umbers. Um, God, I'm blanking. I am so sorry. I'm
So
trying to
are you
remember
saying who are
who's
with
on which
Stannis?
side. Yeah, who's on
So
what side?
House Florent
Okay,
um is with Stannis. Mormont, Kerwin,
Kerwin.
House
Yes,
Glover.
yes.
And
The
I
Karstarks are with Bolton.
Karstarks, yeah, because I think
Mm-hmm.
Karstarks sort of, yeah. So House Glover,
Yep.
House Mormont, House
Yep.
Kerwin,
Okay.
Florent, and what was the first one I said? Oh, Baratheon, obviously.
Right. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
the Baratheon
yeah,
and
obviously, yeah.
his people from the south that he had, and the Queen's men, which really are Melisandre's men. Um, so you have
Also, like
that
uh, what's his name? Massey
Gart
and his family.
Massey. Yeah, Massey's a
Yeah,
big one. Yeah.
yep.
I think he
Um,
went with him, right? Massey did go with him
yes, yeah, Massey, because
because he
Massey,
brings them in. Yeah.
Horp, is it Horp?
It's like Horsby.
Yeah.
Um,
And Godric as well is with him.
yep. Yeah, you got Horsbane, Umber. Um,
That's the
And
one,
like
yeah.
Justin Massey is with him. Now is Tycho the banker from
Oh, the Gold
Bravos.
Company guy.
Yeah, you got the
Um,
banker from Bravos, Tychos something. Um Lord
see,
Arnulf.
I have a feeling that whenever they're properly introduced, they're going to be 100% on Daenerys' side because that family made a blood oath to the Targaryens years and years and years ago.
Oh, I hit my elbow. That was not funny.
Did that tickle?
Not a funny bone. Not a funny bone. Oh God, they're gonna freaking make an auto clip of that. Damn it. Okay. That hurt. Um, I hate that we lost the car Starks. Yeah, you behead the head of the house
You
and
behead their leader over killing your
yeah,
enemy,
yeah,
or more so disobeying the orders.
yep. Um, the Frey fear-based alliance. Now let's not forget at the very end of the book, um, food is getting short in Winterfell. The snow is starting to pile high.
Well, yeah, Ramsay destroyed all the glass in the greenhouse as well, so they've
Right.
got no way of regrowing anything.
They got no way of regrowing anything. Fires and deaths are breaking out. The ghost of Winterfell people are blaming you. Lost one of the Frey squires and a couple other people. Theon escapes with Arya, fake Arya. So let's just say tensions are high. Um, and I want to read something in a second, but you have to also take into effect the pink letter. The pink letter is big with this. Let's see. You also have, let's see, I'm going to read this. Do, do, do. Um, the the best pies you have ever tasted, my lords. Wash it down with arbor gold and savor every bite. I know I shall. That was Wyman Manderley at the wedding feast of Arya and Ramsay. No taste for pork pie, my lord. The best pork pie we've ever tasted. Our fat friend would have us believe. Have you ever seen a fat man so happy? He is almost dancing, serving with his own hands, Barbary Dustin to Theon. Um, where are my kin, Manderley? This is Hostine. Tell me that. Your guests. Who brought your son back to you? Wyman. His bones, you mean. I recall them well. Rhaegar of the round shoulders, with his glib tongue. Old Sir Jared, so swift to draw his steel. Simon, the spy master, always clinking coins. They brought home Wendell's bones. It was Tywin Lannister who returned Wireless to me safe and whole, as he had promised. A man of his word, Lord Tywin. 7 save his soul. The road has many dangers, sir. I gave your brothers guest gifts when we took our leave of White Harbor. We swore we would meet again at the wedding. Many and more bore witness to our parting. Amy's, many and more, or you and yours, Wyman. What are you suggesting, Frey? I do not like your tone, sir. No, not one bloody bit. Hostin, step out in the yard, you sack of soot, and I will serve you all the bloody bits that you can stomach. So, Frey pie happened. So
Yeah,
that's
you were
part of
muted the
this.
whole time, by the way.
Come on. Did you mute me?
No, just
Oh,
joking with you.
I was like, you muted me, you son of a. Walton, we can clone Walton. We always do. What are you talking about? There's always a Walton somewhere. Let's see. Not on this. Damn it. He's on all my other stuff.
So, because the show took a few liberties with season 5 and everything,
Hmm.
where do you think the whole Ramsay and Sansa aren't even going to have a connection?
No. Ramsey and Sansa they've never met.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, this was poor Jane Poole, who they said was Arya. And he did what people got up excited about and angry about what he did to Sansa in the show. is
Nothing
nothing
compared to what James
compared to
went
what
through.
he did to Jane Poole, having dogs do things to her,
Yeah.
and even making Theon watch and be involved. Like, he is a dirty, dirty scumbag. Um, but there
You
is
would have
so
thought the
much.
guy whose house is a literal flayed man would be a sicko.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Weird, right?
Blows your mind, huh? It's just it's tough to understand that one. But there's so much going on. Jane, and also yourself, you brought up like the Northern conspiracy. Um, that's a big part of this. You have the houses that the North remembers is a big thing in A Dance of Dragons. So you keep hearing that over and over again. The the North remembers. Lady Dustin says it. Manderley says it. There's quite a few people that bring that on. Mormont says it. You know, Lady Lyanna Mormont sends that letter. Bear Island
Yeah.
knows no king but the king in the north, whose name is Stark. Um, they believe that there are almost every house in their own way is working. I don't know if there's a connected conspiracy, but in some way, every northern house wants to destroy the Boltons. Are they connecting the dots that they do want to do that? I don't think so, because Manderley could have hooked up with other people than just the Glovers to talk about this. We talked about it in the video we did last week. I think that was when the video we did doing the whole Manderley speech about the North remembers. That was with Glover, that was with Davos. So there are different sections of the North. No one, I believe there is not one, maybe the Karstarks. Other than that, I can't think of a house that truly backs the Boltons. It's just the Boltons have more men because of,
Um,
hmm,
just trying to think. So, I mean, apart from the only one I could really think is probably the phrase, but I wouldn't really consider them a strong
no,
ally to him.
and they're in the North, but they're only connected because they're all connected now to the Lannisters.
Yeah. Well, I guess
So
would that go with the House Dustin as well?
House Dustin is doing it because of somebody's cousin is related to somebody, and she also can't stand Ned Stark. But I don't
That's what
think,
I'm saying, because I know I'm not 100% certain that they're with them, but I know they're 100% against the Starks.
yeah, Ned Stark.
Yeah.
So, like, I can see her stepping out of the way and letting this happen. I don't know if she would allow her people to get involved. So, how did the Boltons have so much power in the North? One, they betrayed Rob. Red Wedding, we all know that. The phrase, and the Boltons killed everyone, a majority of everyone that supported Rob during that wedding. Um, Also, what Roose did, which was genius, is when he started to realize he wanted to switch sides, he always kept his men out of the vanguard and allowed
Yes.
other houses to take the vanguard and lose the majority of their men, making it seem like it's the honorable thing. Oh, they're so
Well, I
proud
mean,
and
and
this and that.
that's the thing. Like, I mean, remember there was a huge inner conflict with the Karstarks
Yep.
not wanting the Umbers to be in
Right.
the like
Well, I mean,
it's
before Rob even became king, that's how he
yeah,
kind of became king. They were all fighting to be who was going to be in the vanguard. And when Rob said, I think the car starts, Umber got pissed. And
yeah.
that's when Grey Wind bit his fingers off. Um, so like there is an honor to be in the vanguard, but Roose always kept his guys to the back. And that's why he has thousands
Same
more than
thing
everybody
with
else.
uh Tywin.
Say that one.
The Lannisters were never in the vanguard. Whenever they were always behind the
Just
flank.
just Tyrion.
Just Tyrion, yeah, just
Just
Tyrion.
Tyrion
That's
and his mountain
just
men.
Tyrion. Like,
Yeah. And his
yeah, but I
mountain
mean,
men.
because I mean, he hates he hates the idea of honor, because every
Yeah.
time Jamie talks to him about it history's written by those who are alive. They can
Yeah.
rewrite. You can tell any story you want.
Yeah. The Karstarks, who are the Karstarks?
They're
They
like the
are
Starks, but they have a vehicle.
yeah. They are a what do you call that when you're like a offshoot? You are
Yeah,
a
they're like what the Blackfires are to the um
it's like
Targaryens.
when the older brother becomes Lord Stark, the younger brother starts another house. So
Yeah.
they're like I forget the name. I'm blanking on what they call that. But that's what they are. The Car Starks were Starks at one point, and then they started their own minor house or something like that. Um offshoot house. So they were always backing the Starks until Catelyn Stark, your good
Mm-hmm.
old cat, released Jamie Lannister, let him go free, and the Karstarks ended up killing like a young Lannister cousin, and Robb beheaded their lord. Um, a cadet
Also,
branch, yeah, a
they
cadet
have
branch would be that.
they have the strongest alliance with them on the basis of marriage as well, because more Starks and Karstarks have married
Yep,
each other than any other house.
yep,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they've married into almost every northern house except for the Boltons because the Boltons always wanted their power. So
Mm-hmm.
the reason the Boltons have the flayed man on their flag as their sigil is because they used to flay Starks that they captured and wear their skins to try to get their warging ability after the Starks killed the king of war, the Warg King, and his sons, and took their daughters as prizes. And that's how the Starks became wargs of their own. It's actually a wildling genetic gene that the Starks were able to inherit after beating the Ward King. Um, and the Boltons always wanted their power, but that was 10,000 years ago, so no one remembers that. But you see signs of it everywhere. You know, the Flayed Man, the Direwolf sigil. They have there is a history of them having that power,
Well,
and I wonder
and
when they
it's
lost it.
yeah, I don't know. It's because it's always for me. It's always been a weird family dynamic. Let's just say with the Boltons, because I never truly thought that they were allies with the Starks.
Never.
Um, but they weren't really allies with the Freys until Roose
Well,
either.
Roose married Wyla,
Yeah,
so they are
the fat
married.
one.
The fattest one because he got her weight in gold.
Yeah,
So that's why he married her. But they had a child together. Is that the one Ramsey? No, they do have a young one that Ramsey's worried about. Maybe she's pregnant. I think she might be pregnant.
shit. I'm getting mixed up with the show.
I know, me too. I know that Roos had a son that Lady Dustin loved, and Ramsey killed him. Well, it's implied Ramsey killed
It's
him,
implied, yeah.
and that's how Ramsey became a Bolton and not a Snow. And that's why it's funny when he calls John a bastard because he too is a bastard. Um,
I hope they don't do a Battle of the Bastards. I'm
no,
really not interested.
I can't see that happening. I don't think so. That would be kind of dumb, right? Um, so yeah, you do have sorry, my whole page just jumped on
Subhouse,
me. Hmm?
minor house,
It's a minor house or it's a
branch.
cadet house. A cadet branch, a minor house, but I would go with cadet branch. That's probably that or minor house. But it's the actual term in our world is a cadet branch. Um, I think George might call it that or a minor house. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Um, so you have the Battle of Ice. Stannis has about 5,000 men. They are weak. They're malnourished. They're cold, sitting on an island in the middle of a massive lake, drilling holes. Um, on that island, he tries to I think he's setting up a fake village on the ice with a light in a tower so they believe that's the island. But he's going to try to get them to fall through the ice, which smart idea might not work. Things will freeze really fast, so I don't know. The Boltons have about 7,000 men and it's getting very tight in Winterfell, and that is why when cuz man Walder Mander Wyman Manderley gets one of
Gets
his chins
killed.
cut. No, he doesn't get killed, but one of his chins gets cut. Um, and it's like drooping, and that's the kind of the last we hear. But I don't think he's dead.
Oh,
Um,
I was under the impression that he was dead.
oh
So
no, I
he survived?
yeah, no, I think he survived.
Oh, okay. So
Yep,
I thought it was like he got like his throat cut all the way up to his chin. Like,
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Now, some people think there. I want to say there is a small faction of the car Starks with now that the Starks are
there's
all
the
with
cast arcs are split
Stannis.
into both. Yes,
Okay, the Umber
there
split,
are
the car Stark split.
yes, the cast arcs there are on both sides.
Right.
So
Okay.
um sorry, I'm just looking through my notes here.
Same here. Uh, let me just check
So I've
my
got
other.
with the arrest of Arnulf, there are still some whose loyalty is shaky, but yeah. So yeah, because Stannis did something to one of the lords, so they defected. That seems to be the Karstark way. It's like, we're loyal to you, but don't fuck with our lords. You know,
Oh,
don't
you're
fuck with
gonna,
anyone
and then they
that's
do.
they do, and then like, all right, we're done, we're going.
Right, we're out. We are
Yeah,
out. Some people like there is an actual historical battle. It's called Battle on the Ice, which I think George is kind of taking a little bit from. And that was in actually April 5th of 1242. It was fought on a frozen lake, Pepias, when the United Forces of the Republic of Novgorod, and is this real? And Valdemir Suls emerged victorious against the forces of Livoni Order and Bishop. I don't know if that's real. I thought
what
that
year
was
was
real.
it?
1242 battle during Northern Crusades.
1242.
Yeah, 1242. I thought that that might be something George took it for because I found that while I was looking.
Oh,
But
you mean
he,
like in real life there was
oh,
one?
in real life, yeah. But he,
Sorry, I'm like, I'm
yeah,
trying to think.
I'm
I'm like,
sorry.
that's not how the time works in this one. I'm like,
No, my
wait,
bad.
what?
But he does take a lot of things from history, but we call it the Battle of Ice. I want to say he refers it to it the
The
Battle of the
Battle of
Snow,
Snow.
I believe, right? Or the Battle in the Ice, maybe.
It's the
Uh,
battle of the cold ones. It's the battle of the hot and sandy ones, and there's the bloody one.
the
There's
bloody
also the wet
one.
one.
So, let's see what we got. The Battle in the Ice, I guess, is the official one on a wiki of Ice and Fire.
In the
Um,
ice, that so
in the
they're
ice,
frozen then. Because if
yeah,
you're in
they
the
must
ice,
be.
that means there's ice around you,
Yeah,
which means you can't move.
but you have the Iron Throne, House Baratheon, um, in in the north, led by House Bolton. He has on his side the Kerwins, the Dustins, the Hornwoods, the Karstarks, with some of them with Stannis' host. House Locke, Manderley, Riswell, Slate, Stout, House Umber, led by Hothor Umber, and of course House Frey. On Stannis' side,
You didn't.
you have from the Reach, House Cobb, from
Yep.
the Crownlands, House Faring and House Massey, like we said before. From the Stormlands, House Fell, House Horp, House Peasbury, and House Wild. And Northern Stark loyalists, some of them you have. You also have the Mountain Clans, the Flints, the Burleys, the Harclay, Not Little. And Little's kind of an important one because I believe if I'm remembering this right, Bran ran into a Little on his journey north, and also Wex they ran into. So people know that Bran is alive. Um, Nori and Wool, House Mormont, the clan sworn to Deepwood Moat, House Bull, Branch, Forest, and Woods, House Umber, led by Moore's Umber, survivors from the battle outside the gates of Winterfell.
Morrisumber, isn't he already dead?
No, nope. That and Big John isn't dead either. He's a captive. Um, you also have former Kerwins, former Hornwoods, and former Tallhearts, the Men of the Stony Shores, and House Foxglove, which I've never heard of. Um,
House Fox Club?
Foxglove. I don't think I've ever heard
Foxglove?
of them. Yeah. There's no preview on those guys, but someone put that in. So Stannis has over 7,100 men, or I'm sorry, Stannis has 5,400. Bruce has over 7,100. Main host 5,000, which for Stannis, which are 1,400
So
Southern men at arms and knights. Yep.
Foxglove.
FOX Glove. Yeah. Foxglove.
I just done a search on it. Nothing's
I've never
coming
heard
up.
of it. So maybe someone snuck that in because it says other House Foxglove. I've never heard of that either.
Apparently, it's never been mentioned in any of the books.
Yeah.
All companion text.
And you know what? You just brought that up. I didn't say House Glover at all. So maybe
Yeah,
someone
Glover
just
is.
screwed it up and put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because House Glover is definitely on Stannis' side. Maybe that's what
Yep.
it was.
Because
That's
it's
weird.
Robert Glover at the moment, which is weird because I don't like the fact that he doesn't have a Muppet name.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, like Kermit and all that.
yeah, or Elmo.
What's weird though is in the show, the Glover was on Bruce's side.
Yep.
So that is kind of weird. Um,
Because what happened was, initially House Glover rebuffed Stannis as
right.
as
As the
yeah
king and
said
the
no.
king.
Yeah,
Right.
but where they're surrounded and everything like that, they're either going to all get killed or they're going to
Hmm.
switch.
Yeah, but didn't the Glovers work with the Manderleys to make the boats after Ned sent word that they needed to start building boats?
Yeah, but that's a financial transaction versus going to war with banners.
Yeah, true. True. That's very true. Um, Winterfell and the Ned's daughter rescue from Ramsay. Yeah, no, nothing in here talks about the Glovers, which is weird. And let's not forget Mance Raider and his spear wives, 6 of them, are in Winterfell as we speak. Glovers were with Stannis to take Deepwood Moat. I don't think there are many left. Oh, okay. Well, according to GRRM, I'm guessing maybe we're not getting Winds of Winter. We probably are not. The way he posted that. Cryptic Charm, thank you for being here. Jon Snow, the Macy's Day Parade.
Referring to above your head, the Jon Snow thing floating around like a blimp.
House Foxglove, really? Yeah, no, I guess not. Um, yeah, Lady Glover is in Deepwood Moat. I swear there's still another male Glover somewhere.
Yeah, Rob Glover. Robert.
Yeah. We're gonna go back up though. So before we started, the Raging, what is it again?
Sightinist.
Citinus wrote a bunch of these. So I'm just gonna read what they put. Stannis has always been grim and resolute, but here he becomes something more, the frozen embodiment of unbending will. His army is ragged, cold, and dwindling, but disciplined. He does not inspire with charisma, he inspires with iron. We know from the Theon preview chapter that he intends to use the weather to his advantage. Yes, we do. A blizzard has set in, visibility is low, movement is limited, but Stannis sees opportunity. He means to strike the Frey vanguard, commanded by Hostine Frey and Aenys Frey, while they are disoriented. Now, we know that the Freys, after the Frey Manderley fight with the meat pies, the Frey pies, um, a
Yum
fight
yum.
breaks out in the Great Hall where they're dining, or the dining hall, and Bolton kicks both groups out to attack Stannis. And then I believe Ramsay follows them. So you have a group before them goes out. I think maybe the Umber group. I could be wrong. Then you get a group of the Freys with the Manderleys behind them. And then after them, I believe Ramsay goes out. So a lot of people think that when they hit the lake, people start falling in, they try to retreat, and the Freys will attack them. Or not the Freys, excuse me. The Manderleys will attack them, and they will get crushed between the two. But then you have a Ramsay Bolton coming up from behind with his group. So that may cause a lot of disoriented fighting and who's who because of the visibility in the blizzard. Allies may be killing allies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crucially, Stannis has received intelligence from Asha Greyjoy, his prisoner, and Theon Greyjoy, who knows the terrain and the character of the Boltons. He knows how to exploit their weaknesses. That is true. We also know from Jon Snow's final chapter in A Dance with Dragons that Stannis has written to him seeking support, which may imply he's desperate or calculating. He wants to name Jon the new Stark of Winterfell.
Yeah, he wants him to be the Warden of the North.
Yeah. The weather is Stannis' greatest ally. With a blizzard raging, he intends to lure the Freys cavalry into a trap near a frozen lake or clearing, most likely the lake. He knows that the Freys are eager, impatient, and dismissive of his remaining forces by exploiting the storm. He can divide and conquer, targeting and overextending enemies in an ambush. Now, what the Boltons and the Freys, I don't think know is how many wildlings now are with him, how many mountain men are also with him. John, don't forget, John says, if you want the help from the mountain men, sit with them. Listen to how, valiant their sons are and beautiful their daughters. Eat, break bread with them, and then you will have their loyalty. And that's what he does. If Martin stays true to his style, the battle will be a Pyrrhic
Oh, what's that word?
victory for
Pyrrhic?
Pyrrhic?
I'm gonna have to Google that one.
Yeah, please Google. Victory for Stannis or a tragic twist. He might win the field, but lose too many men to hold territory. And that's where I think Ramsay comes in.
Okay, so Pyrrhic or Pyrrhic victory is a victory that comes at such a great cost in terms of resources or losses that it's essentially a loss in disguise. It's victory in name only.
Name only, right? Yeah.
Right, okay.
His
I learned
last
something new today.
Yeah, I know. His
Pyrrhic?
Pyrrhic?
I keep thinking it's PH, but it's Pyrrhic.
So his last one says, what's clear is the outcome of this battle will determine the future of the North, whether it bends the knee to the Iron Throne, the Boltons, or reborn Stark claim. Very interesting.
Well, we don't know that Stark is going to get reborn though.
No, we don't. I think it's just
be floating around in the sky like a
Mayflower
parade.
Billy's what's up? He says, who is in charge of House Frey in the books now? Well, it's still old man Frey, but in the north you have Aenys Frey and Hostine Frey. So they're the ones
in the vanguard at the moment. So they're away from from everything.
2,000 Frey troops, including 500 knights, are in the vanguard. 3,000 Manderley troops, 100 knights, 200 mounted men at arms. Because don't forget, the Manderleys still are from the south, so they have knights. 456 Karstark troops, 400 spearmen, 40 archers, and 16 mounted lancers. So you have over 2,000 of the Freys are in the vanguard, which is I think the whole group of them. I think that's everybody for the Frey. He sent them all out, which is kind of crazy. I didn't realize he sent them all. Because Aenys Frey captured those Karstarks, right? I think that's what happened.
No. They went to them.
I thought he captured them.
No, because they defected from the other side. Yeah, because that's they defected because Stannis arrested and captured their head because he wasn't truly aligned with them. They thought he was a spy or something along those lines.
Okay.
So yeah, so they came across willingly. They're not.
Yeah, and you have outside. Don't forget, outside of Winterfell, you have Moors Umber. So half the Umbers are with Moors. They're all the young boys, the green boys.
Yeah.
The other half with the other Umber, and I can't remember his name. Hothor Umber, he has all the long beards. Okay, because the majority of the young men were killed at, or the fighting age men were killed at the Red Wedding. Um, but while Mors is outside of Winterfell, he's digging like pits because they can't. No one can see
Yeah.
past their face at Winterfell right now. So I totally forgot until I just saw this. Some of the men from the House Frey fell into these snow-covered pits placed by Mors, and Aenys breaks his neck in one of those pits, and Hosteen loses his horse but survives falling in one of those pits.
Wait, Amy's is dead?
He broke his neck, most likely going to die because when um
How do I not remember
when
that?
Roose is pissed with the Manderleys and the Freys after the battle, he sends the Manderleys out the eastern gate and the Freys out the main gate, and that's where all the pits are near the main gate. Yeah, yeah, that's
There
it.
you go.
All right.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. So
Oh yeah, there's so much. There's so much going on. I mean,
is
you
that
have
is that
Tycho.
is that
Yeah,
from Dance or is that from a sample chapter?
no, that's Dance. Yep, that's Dance. Oh, hold on. Now we got. I missed this.
Are you looking at something? Because there's nothing on
Yeah,
the screen.
yeah, I'm looking at something. You want me to just share it?
Yeah, yeah. Just so we know what you're looking at.
I was trying to sound smart, Um,
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, you're clearly pulling this
totally,
straight out of
totally
your
pulling this out
butt.
of the air. From A Dance with Dragons, John 4, clad in animal hides and mostly wielding sticks and slings, indicating that the other 600 to 1,600 men have been provided by House Mormont, Glover, Hornwood, Kerwin, Telhart, and Smallfolk. So, according to Jon Snow, the mountain clans would provide 2,000 to 3,000 men. And then um, he also indicates that you can get about 1,600 if he stops at Mormont, Glover. So, Glover is with
Yeah, Glover's
Stannis.
with them. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot that because they don't really put them as they're not really that strong anymore. Um, and then you have John reading the pink letter. That kind of screws up a lot. Um, let's see what other people are saying. Old Man Frey is in charge and his sons. Yeah. He's still at the twins though. Yeah, he says good word, isn't it? Talking about that psychic or whatever. It's very old. That's insane. All the phrase, they will be left with no numbers after the battle. Yeah, no, they're dead. Um, Billy says, did Arya do the pie thing like the show? No, it's actually Lord Manderley is the pie guy. All right.
Yeah.
So when Manderley has a group of Freys watching him closely, and that's why he fakes Davos's death at the end of Dance of Dragons. He takes some dude's head and arms and puts an onion in his mouth and puts it on a pike. Um, so the Freys believe that he is going to be loyal after seeing that, and they leave. And there's three of them that we referenced earlier. When they leave his home, he gives them guest gifts. So in the North, there are two major customs when it comes to guests in your home. There's the custom of bread and salt, which is when they enter your home, you give them a piece of bread and some salt. That means under your roof, they will be protected. They will not
Yeah,
be in
it's
danger from
house
you or
rights.
yours. Yeah, the house
Yeah,
rights.
house rights essentially means that while they're within the boundaries of your house or whatever it is, no blood will be spilt.
Right.
No
By
bonds
you in your
broken
own house.
by
Yeah.
by you. Yeah, if they attack you, it's completely different.
Hmm.
Um, but it's a very old tradition that no one actually knows where it came from. People say it's the first men, but they were already doing it.
Hmm.
Um,
It's ancient.
and
It's ancient in the
it's
North.
ancient, and that's why I think somehow along the lines that's going to be part of the key to defeating the others, because I think that somewhere deep down within them that they still have those innate
Ancient.
things in there. Yeah,
Yeah, those ancient
you
rituals.
You get them in the house. You invite them. Invite them in. They're under the house protection. They can't do anything. You can't do anything. I think that's how. If there is ever going to be a negotiation or anything like that with them,
Right.
it's going to be like that.
And we do
And
know from the Prelude chapter, they do have consciousness. They are
yes,
conscious. They're sentient. Like they speak in a weird, it sounds like
whisper.
ice crackling and stuff like that, but they do have consciousness. So can you even communicate with them? But maybe the communication is these ancient rituals.
Yeah,
You know, you show them salt and bread, they understand. That's
yeah,
a really cool idea I never thought of. But that's the big reason why the North remembers is because Robb Stark was given salt and bread by Walder Frey, him and his host, and then they killed them under their roof, which
hmm
is like the story of the Rat King, pretty much. You know, like oh no, the story of the Rat King is the feeding your own people in pies to somebody else. That's Manderley. But there is one of the ancient stories talks about how the gods do not favor those who break
yeah.
what is it called, first right,
House rights.
house right, not first night. First
Yeah,
night something different.
because they
um
made a big point in the show that Catelyn really wanted to make sure they had the bread and salt and
yes,
everything, so they were protected.
yeah, and she like takes a sigh of relief after Rob eats it.
Yeah,
You know, that was one of the cool moments in the show, like where you're like, oh, you actually see her like, okay, we're safe now, you know, and then she feels Bruce's arm and he has chainmail on and she takes another hour to like respond. The minute I saw him have chainmail, I'd be like, word fuck, you know? Yeah, guest race. Guest race. Thank you very much.
yeah. Because if they're a guest under your house, then you have to protect them.
Yes. Yeah. But on
Um,
the other end of it, once you are ready for someone to no longer have that protection, you give them a gift, a
a
guest gift.
gift, yeah,
I
and
think
you
it's actually
can't,
called
yeah,
guest gifts. And now they are no longer under your protection. That is your gift to them, which Manderley, I believe, gave them horses. And he then ended up killing them on the way, grinding them into mush and putting them in pies. But he made sure others saw him give them the guest gift,
yeah,
which is
and
one of the smartest things he does.
it's also a big thing that House Baratheon has been accused of not doing in the past when it
Right.
comes to that. And you look at the stuff that happened with uh
He did eat
Rhaenyra's
them.
kids,
Yeah.
and that there was no welcoming of the gods. There was no official house hierarchy. He just came in and had a conversation. He wasn't offered
Yep.
any protection
Yep.
under that, which
And he even says,
realistically
though,
shouldn't have. Yeah, but
he
he
even
tries
kicked
to
them out.
invoke it. He says, "Yeah, you've got to get out." Which, if that's the case, you don't let you don't let the other guy go straight after him because there's going to
No.
be blood in your ground because it's still in your your realm. Your
Yeah. Your territory. Yeah. I would.
whether it's in your castle or out
Yep.
the front, it's
Yep.
still under your protection. But because
Even
he
in the
didn't give
air.
any he didn't give any guest rights or house rights or anything like that to them, which he should have.
Right. But
Um,
now the Targaryens may not even.
no, no,
Um,
but the Baratheons did. That's what I'm saying. The
yeah, I don't
Baratheons
know
have,
about that.
but yeah,
I don't know about that because it's only really big in the north. I think maybe in the Vale they do it too, but like it was a big deal that Walter Frey even offered it because it's people do it, but it is like a solemn oath you are taking in the north. I don't think it is as something they would see the gods are going to look unfavorably on them if they screw somebody over in the south. But in the north, it is like one of the only sacred rights they have when it comes to, because without guest rights, no one is ever safe.
yeah. But he didn't fly under a peace banner or anything like that either. So
Right. Right.
um,
But
he was an envoy.
he was an envoy, so he should have
Yeah,
been given certain rights and protections. And that's where the Baratheons went wrong. So I agree with you on that. List says, depends what you are doing. There are supposed to be protections for envoys too. Oh yeah, peace banner
yeah.
or whatever. Absolutely. There's protocol. Um, But yeah,
which doesn't
so
really mean much to us, but in a world that is ruled by religion and superstitions and, you know,
oaths.
oaths, like,
Yeah.
I mean, we got how many families do we have that have been at war for so long that they don't even know why?
Yeah, you got the Blackwoods and the
Yeah, Brackens. Yeah.
Brackens. They don't even know how it started, but they hate each other
And we
down
missed
deep.
their best battle. I'm still pissed about that.
I am so pissed about that. But don't worry,
uh,
because we're getting the battle of the gullet at some point. Um,
sure we are.
maybe we're only getting 4 seasons, but this next season's going to be the one, and I hope they bounce back. I really do because I really enjoyed season one, even for some of its flaws. And someone messaged someone, I think it was Jonathan 93. Oh, thanks, babe. Thank you, Mrs. Spork. It was
Hello,
either like
Mrs. Falk.
everybody says hi. I don't know if it was Jonathan 93, but someone put on one of the videos we did um that we should go over. You know what? I'll find it right now because it was a very smart one and I liked it. 1 second, everybody.
I
Can
mean, I like what Brian's saying here. He said, "What if the others are only killing people who fail to do the old rituals?"
okay, let me think about that because in the prologue, was there a ice sword out before the steel came out, or was it the
No,
steel that came out
no,
first?
no, because they heard the wind and it changed and everything, and they heard the noises. Then they all unsheathed,
Hmm.
and then when they saw the sword, they went, "Oh, wait a minute!" And
Yeah.
then they drew theirs after.
Okay, they
I'm
did draw
sure.
others after. I can't remember. But it was Johnny Skinwalker who said it would be fun to essentially go over Hot D and look at all the changes made and question why they were made, and also which changes were good and which changes were not so good, and maybe what they should have done in season two. So we might do that in the next week or
Yeah.
two. I think that
Uh-huh.
after we're done with the Battle of Fire, because the Battle of Blood is Old Town, we might go over that, but I thought that was a cool idea. What's up, Kirsty? So yeah, that's an interesting idea. If you if you honor some ancient rites, will the others? I don't
Because
know.
he's made certain points about the importance of
Ritual.
the rituals and everything like that. And if you look at it from a historical sort of perspective, when
Hmm.
you have a society that's really heavily based in rituals and religion and everything like that, and it strays from that, quote unquote, evil is allowed to come through and enter,
Hmm.
sort of thing.
Hmm.
It could be a big allegory for that sort of story, like a not necessarily like a religion versus science sort of angle, but something along those lines of the reason that they're able to come back now is because there are far less people that believe in the old ways. There's the religion of the seven
Yeah.
is now more predominant, which means that there's less
Yes.
protection, and there's like it could essentially be that like the reason that they are able to attack and do these sort of things now
Hmm.
is because of that.
Because the old ways are going
Because
away.
because less people have remembered how to deal with
Well,
it.
right, right. I mean, they've forgot everything. Like winter is coming. And to House Stark, that means, when winter comes, we must all come together and make it through because winter's tough, and the pack survives. But truthfully, winter is coming. It means the White Walkers are coming. But they've
Yeah.
forgotten what that meaning of that is. Why there needs to be always a Stark in Winterfell. We don't know.
And
And that
the thing of
and
it
with
is, it's
that's an
Winterfell.
ancient.
If it falls because of the winter, everyone dies. That's the
Yeah,
point. That they are that
yeah.
line.
Oh no, I
Um,
I I believe that too. And the idea that maybe one of their deals was that the Starks will always hold Winterfell
hmm
and protect
yeah.
whatever's underneath it. And
You mean the
maybe
dragon?
it could be a dragon, could be whatever, but to me there's something down there that they're meant to protect. They just don't realize it anymore.
The
Um I don't know.
The whole thing about winter is coming. I've always had the perspective of it that winter was the terminology that they used for the White Walkers, and we got the term winter as in when it gets cold
Yeah,
from them
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because they've talked about perpetual summers and perfect conditions.
yeah,
Like winter wasn't a thing until the White Walkers existed.
yeah. And George does say the seasons are long because of
Yeah.
something magical, and
Hmm.
he just hasn't told us why yet. And that's most likely what it is.
Because it's on
Is
a
that
flat Earth.
well? I don't know about that, but they brought winter for the first time, and they never
Yeah,
were actually killed off. So winter does come back.
and,
You
and
know,
that's what I'm saying. Like when we use the word winter to determine
describe
the
snow.
coldest,
Yeah,
describe snow, the coldest months of the year and everything. Where within the world of ice and fire, winter actually means White Walkers, but
right.
because they've
But now they
forgotten,
believe it's 5 years of winter.
yeah,
Yeah, like a season, but it really means the term winter
winter,
is White
yeah,
Walker. Damn, that is good. Listless Receptionist, not just a retrospective season two. What he was asking is we go through season one and two, starting with one, and what they changed from Fire and Blood to the screen and see how it affected the show. And I
every
thought that
episode
was
has to change.
yeah, yeah, it really
But
does.
it's hard to know what would be considered a change and a bit of added information.
Right,
Like,
right.
um,
Certain changes had to happen. I mean,
yeah, like
for
we will
storytelling on a show.
we will the first episode. It was never explicitly implied that the choice came down to uh
Yeah, they made it seem like it
Jerry.
was Rhaenys versus Viserys when she wasn't even up for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like little changes here and there that we weren't specifically told in the book
Right.
versus what we were shown. I don't
Yeah.
know how to put those in there. I don't know that because it was never hinted that the king felt guilty over his wife dying.
Yeah. No.
But
No.
when Paddy portrayed it, you could see it in his voice. You could hear it, everything like that. He truly felt guilty about sentencing Aemma to die. Essentially,
Right. Right.
do
That's
you
true.
consider? Would you consider that a change to the story or a clarification of what happened?
It could be a clarification, but it is a change because we don't know him like we didn't get to meet the series like we did in the show. The book,
No,
he's
he was just
so
a fat
different.
drunk
Right.
king that liked to get stories read to him by little girls.
Right. And he really didn't like making decisions. But in the
No,
show,
no.
it was more like he was more of a placater. He tried to placate everyone and keep the peace.
Yeah, he was
Without
still
making
living. He was
major
still living under Jaehaerys' shadow
right,
as a
but he's
peacemaker.
still in the show, they made it seem like he made his decision, his daughter was going to be
Hmm.
queen. Um,
That I would consider a change. I figured he said it once and then he never clarified it or never went back on it. That's the impression that I got in the books.
yeah,
And he said, no, it's her. And then when every time anyone asking, I need you to make, he said, no, I've already said it. It's fine. Just
yeah,
I don't want to talk about it.
yeah. I found this to be a good one. This kind of tells you something. Ned Stark beheaded a guy for deserting in episode 1, which he heard the man's words and he decided he was guilty even though the man was not. He did desert, but he ran to warn them because he saw White Walkers. Later, Ned gets beheaded for treason, but yet he was not he did nothing treasonous. So both men got killed for something that they didn't really do, but it looked like they did. So that's interesting.
Oh, what happened to who was the guy that cut Ned's head off?
It was Ilian Payne, I
Pain.
believe. Bring me
What
his
happened to
head.
him?
Um, he is not dead in the books. He
You reckon
died.
he'll
The
lose
actor
his head?
died. I don't think he lost his head yet.
Hmm.
Because he's in the books, he's training Jamie in quiet because Jamie he was training Jamie because he couldn't speak. And Jamie allowed him to train him. But because
Yeah,
I think the guy died in the books or in real life, that's why they had Braun training him. Because I don't
yeah.
remember Braun training Jamie.
Bron, no, because after I said it last week, I was certain of it. I went back and looked and I went, no, I was completely wrong. Because
Yeah,
my problem is, I've read most of the book since watching the show. So when
yeah,
I'm reading the book, I'm seeing those characters in my
Those
head.
characters. Yep. Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm doing the same.
because I didn't even know of Game of Thrones until uh shit.
The
I think it
show.
was maybe season 2 of the show.
Oh,
I'd
really?
seen I didn't even know it was a book. I knew of the show.
Oh, really? I didn't
Um,
know that.
but no, like no, I was at the bookstore and I saw Game. I said, oh, they've turned it into a book, and I'm like, it came out in the 90s. Wait, what? And then I
That's
realized that
crazy.
there was at that stage there was 4 books.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
were
oh my
waiting.
god,
The
there's four
fifth
books.
came out between season 1 and 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I read the first couple books. I still had one more to go before season 1 came out. And that was just because, I was for like 12 years a drug addict. So didn't really read much then. But
Had you
then
were doing something else.
yeah, when I got clean, I read second, third book. After season 1, I read the fourth and fifth book. Um, but yeah, it was one of those. I'm not much of a reader, but man, it was the only story that ever, next to maybe Tolkien and maybe a couple random books I read through my life, that really grabbed me. I mean,
I,
it grabbed me more than any other book. I
I
have to
read
say that.
Lord of the Rings as a youngin.
Hmm.
Didn't read The Hobbit until I was in my 30s.
Hmm.
Um, and every other book that I was really into was more either horror, like Dean Koontz, uh, Stephen King sort of stuff,
Right.
or it was sci-fi. Never a fan of fantasy at all. It was the show
Hmm.
that actually got me to go and read the books.
Right. And the books are so good. I
Uh,
just
yeah,
hope we get them.
They're better, but the problem is because I did it by the time that I got to season 5,
Hmm.
I realized there wasn't actually a fifth. There was another book,
Right. Right.
and I'm like, oh shit, John's dead. All right, I better go get this last book so I can find out what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not knowing that, and I get to the end of it, I'm just like, oh
Wait
shit,
a minute.
wait, yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I was so confused because I'm like uh, reading through, I'm just like, there's only like 4 characters in this book.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
reading through. I had no idea about
Yeah.
it
The
being split and
POVs,
everything because
there's a
I
handful. Yeah.
I wasn't privy to any of the information. I didn't even really know anything about
Right.
George or anything like that because I wasn't into fantasy.
Right. No, that makes sense, man. It's the best. If again, I know he hasn't finished it, but so far it's the best fantasy book I've read.
Mm.
I did read the
But
first of Wheel of Time. I just never went back. Everyone says I should. I think I'm on a different page, but I think someone said Dune books are great. Um, but Jon Snow has been bleeding out for 13 years, 8 months, and 22 days now. So it's about time someone helps that poor bastard. Um,
Schrodinger's Snow.
so Cryptic Charm, and I love that. I love seeing newer names or names I haven't seen in a while. The Night King is not something yet in the book. There is a
Well,
Night's King, but he's from
they're talking
thousands of
about
years
something
ago.
from yeah they
That Yeah, the
from
13th Lord Commander,
hmm
who was actually taken out, and Stig Kenobi always brings this up. The 13th Lord Commander was actually taken out of the history of the Night's Watch because of what he did as the Night's King.
which is the
Um,
reason why John is technically the 1000th
that's
instead
why,
of
yeah,
99. Not yet.
because right now he's the 999, but really
Yeah.
he's the 1000th Lord Commander.
Which is weird because they've taken out what he did. Yet, look at all the other Lord Commanders that have done shit that have never
Yeah,
got out.
this guy though slept with a White Walker, sacrificed children to the White Walkers. So I think that was pretty bad. And I believe he probably was also a Stark, and they
Was
didn't want.
Bloodraven ever commander?
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
disappeared.
Look at
He
all the
was a
shit that he's
commander.
done.
Yeah, but that was before he became a brother of the Night's
I
Watch.
guess, yeah.
So it supposedly wipes the slate clean. And then he just disappeared into the snow one day. I like this. Ilian Payne is fine in the books, and he's also related to Podrick Payne. So Ilian Payne and Podrick Payne, so they both got big dongs. Um, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
pain. I get
Brian
it.
said it.
That's yeah.
Okay. Um, Payne. I get it. All right. So back to the story at hand. Um, we do get a little bit of the pregame to the Battle of Ice in the Theon Greyjoy sample chapter. Will this actually be in the book? Will it be changed? It's been, I think, like 8 years since this was released.
Yeah,
So
17?
yeah, something
2017?
around that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the actual date, but yeah. Um,
I don't care if they change everything, just leave Forsaken.
oh God, don't touch Forsaken. We have to go over that. I know we've done it years ago, but we'll have to do that again because the Forsaken sample chapter is literally one of the best. And for anybody out there who has never read the excerpts, which are the sample chapters, someone put them all into one website. So here it is. This is the Winds of Winter sample chapter.
Yeah, so Forsaken is the Euron Greyjoy POV chapter for Winds of Winter that was released.
Yeah, it is. It is so good, Brian. I just posted. Those are there's 9 sample chapters. One is a partial because it was a transcript from someone who
Yeah,
heard it.
that's Victorian one.
Yep. Yep. Most of them came off of Martin's website. The Forsaken's also a transcript of George reading it, but most people that heard him read it say it's almost word for word. Some come from the World of Ice and Fire app, which I need to download because there's so many like authors connotation notes that you learn a lot more than just what the book has. But most of them are on Martin's website. So, and this is it right here. You'll see it like this. So, the Winds of Winter released so far, but this is, oh God, this is of May 2016. So all these are from
So okay,
before
I thought it
that.
was 17. Well, there you go. Yeah, so you were right.
Holy
It was
crap.
Jesus, 9 years.
Yeah. We started getting sample chapters because George did have extra chapters after the last two books. So the last two books were one big book. He split them in two, had half his characters on in Feast for Crows, right? Is that the fourth book? I always
Yeah.
forget. Yeah, Feast for Crows. And then the other half were in Dance with Dragons. Some people like one more than the other. I think they're both important. But some of these may be like Ariana one might have been a leftover.
Sansa
Um
fucking one was just greedy.
yeah, Sansa, the born Mercy though, the Arya one, that's a great one. That gives you a lot of info. You hear a little bit about the Battle of
Yeah, see, but my problem is I was so bored reading it that all that
Mhm.
shit went over my head. It was
What,
just
Mercy?
nonsense. Yeah.
Mercy was, I mean, she's what, 11? Not 11, 9? And
Yeah.
she seduces a guy, brings her up to her apartment, and then does what
Mm-hmm.
she does. Like, what? Like you got to remember how old these kids are, and it's like, wow, he never did the 5 year jump, so damn. Um, Barristan one is great. Barristan one, Tyrion one, and
Barristan.
Victorian.
I walked down an alleyway and got stabbed by 5 guys. The end of chapter.
The good
Written by
thing
Dan
about
Dave.
the good thing about Barristan and Tyrion, if we're gonna do the Battle of
Well, that's
Fire
the Battle of
next week,
Fire.
yeah, read Tyrion one, Barristan one, and I think Victorian one has like he just gets there. Um, but yeah, those three are kind of important for the Battle of Fire. Um, Ariana's good because you get to learn about Aegon and what's going on with him. Um, Sansa one is just Sansa not getting it after everything that's happened to that girl. She just doesn't get it. Like she's still trusting people. Yeah, the Hound we think survived. He is the grave digger.
Yep, yep.
Um,
Pretty sure of that. Also, if I'm honest, I'd rather a POV of Jane Poole than than any more Sansa.
Say that again.
I'd rather a Jane Poole POV versus a Sansa one.
Oh my god, how terrifying would that have been? That
Like
poor girl.
even if it's now as
Yeah,
she's
after the
escaping
fact.
with, yeah, like
Yeah. I mean, they stole her story and gave it to Sansa
but
in
they gave it to
in the
Sansa. That's what I
show.
mean. I
Yeah.
want to see that story. Like,
No, that's a good story. Um, but we start learning. So Theon is like hanging on on a wall, literally hanging on a wall in Stannis's like room. But we learn about a lot what's going on with Stannis and his forces. Um, you know, we learn that there are people trying to commit mutiny, and he catches it because of Theon. Um, let's see, where is it? Yeah, like Stannis is like signing some. He says, "My brother's debts." The king was muttering, "Joffrey's too. Though those baseborn abomination was no kin to me." Theon twisted in his chain. He knew that voice, Stannis. Theon Greyjoy, uh, chortled, chortled, chortled.
it
A stab.
chortled.
Yeah, I don't know that one. A stab of pain went up
I'm
his
definitely not
arms.
googling it now.
No, totally not Googling it for us. From his shoulder to his wrist, all he had done, all he had suffered, Moat Cailin and Barrowtown and Winterfell, Abel and his washerwomen, who is actually Abel and his washerwomen are Mance Rayder and his spearwives. Um,
Chortling is essentially laughing, but
oh, okay.
overly noisily, like you laughed at your own joke, like ah, ha, 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 ha.
No, so people know. Okay.
Yeah.
Crow food and his umbers, the trek through the snow, and all he had only served to exchange one tormentor for another. Your grace, a second voice said softly, pardon, but your ink has frozen. The Bravo C. Theon knew. What was his name? Tycho? Tycho something? Perhaps a bit of heat. I know a quicker way. Stannis drew his dagger. For an instant, Theon thought he meant to stab the banker. You will never get a drop of blood from that one, my lord. He might have told him. The king laid the blade of the knife against the ball of his left thumb and slashed. There, I will sign in my own blood. That ought to make your masters happy. If it pleases your grace, it will please the Iron Bank. So, for once, Stannis is like paying off his brothers, and for some reason, he's paying off his brothers and Joffrey's debt, or he's taking on their debt to get more money. That one I was like, wait a minute, but the Lannisters still have an heir. So why is he taking any of their debt? Is because he says he's the king? I don't know. Um, I've been wondering why. You will depart today. Lord Bolton may be on us soon. I will not have you caught up in the fighting. That would be my preference as well. The Bravo C slipped the roll of parchment inside a wooden tube. I hope to have the honor of calling on your grace again when you are seated on your iron throne. You hope to have your gold, you mean. Save your pleasantries. It is coin I need from Bravos, no empty courtesy. Tell the guard outside I have need of Justin Massey. It would be my pleasure. The Iron Bank is always glad to be of service. The banker bowed. And then he sends in Massey, and I believe he sends Massey with him, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
He accompanies him.
yeah. And then you
Hey,
get to
Teresa.
hey, Teresa, you get to a part where finally Theon starts to talk. Um, just now, the turncloak is more use to me alive. Wait a minute. I know what he wants, the king indicated Theon. Him, well, want him dead. Flint, Nori, all of them will want him dead for the boys he slew. Vengeance for their precious Ned. Will you oblige them? Just now, the turncloak is more use to me alive. He has knowledge we may need. Bring in the maester. The king plucked a parchment off the table and squinted over it. A letter, Theon knew. Its broken seal was black wax, hard and shiny. I know what that says, he thought, giggling. Stannis looks up. The turncloak stirs. Theon's my name. My name, Theon. He had remembered his name. I know your name. I know what you did. I saved her from the outer walls, blah, blah, blah. Cold white pillow. Jenny, her name is Jenny, but she will never tell them. Theon landed. I saved the girl, he said. We flew. Stannis snorted. You fell. Umber saved her. If Moore's Crowfoot and his men had not been outside the castle, Bolton would have had you both of you back in moments. Um, thinks about the old man, all that good stuff. Um, through broken teeth, he whimpers, I am a turncloak and a kinslayer. But see, does he ever actually tell them I didn't kill him? Um,
No.
uh, let's see.
Actually, it's been that long since I've read this one.
Yeah, me too. It's
I'm
it's it's a
I
good.
can't
This
even
is
remember. I
another
can't even
good
remember
one.
how it ends. I remember liking it, but I don't
Yeah,
remember
you
much.
know, because Stannis is just great in it. Like Theon says, "Unchain me, and I will serve you." And he's like, "As you served Roose Bolton and Robb Stark." He snorted. I think not. We have a warmer end in mind for you, Turncloak, but not until we're done with you. It's just like you're going to be dead, but you got to give me the info I need. Um, and he asks him, to kill him. Um, take off my head and stick it on a spear. I slew Lord Star Edward's son, Edark's sons. I ought to die, but do it quickly. He is coming. See, so he doesn't tell him, and I don't know why. Does he just believe he won't believe him?
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. It's just like you just you slewed you killed
Slade?
Slade. Yeah, is it?
Yeah,
You slayed two random kids under your protection. Like that's gonna make it sound any better.
right.
If he was smart enough, he could say he did it to save them.
Mm-hmm.
He sent them on their way and then found two bodies.
Right. Right. Listless receptionist. There is much going on Sansa, though, intrigue wise.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
just
not
not with
playing
her,
it.
though. She's right.
That's the thing. Like, it's Sansa happens to be one of the luckiest people because everything around her seems to be working out in her favor without her doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, show canon. Oh God, I hope not. Yeah, she has Stockholm
Sorry.
syndrome. Well, yeah, and she doesn't know that he was the reason her father was executed, because the deal was going to be with Cersei. He would take the black with his bastard. It was Littlefinger whispering in Joffrey's ear that you're king. You're going to allow this to happen while your father would never allow this. Blah 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 blah. And that is the only reason he says take his head. It's actually Littlefinger's fault. Um, let's see.
It's almost like Littlefinger has a tendency to be able to manipulate the younger characters.
Yeah, Bagels. What is up, man? There's some really good anime out there right now. Windbreakers season 2, first episode, killer. Um, something the
This
demon
one,
sword. Yeah, this one, the Battle of Ice with Lord Stannis Baratheon, and Sporking News with a zombie mad. That's
which you can
pretty
find on the
interesting.
Shining Nerds podcast.
Yeah, the Shining Nerds podcast. How did it think that's what it was? Oh, that's great. Yeah, the Iron Bank guy has balls. I will give him that. Well, because he knows he's needed. He knows that Stannis can't win anything without money, and
Well,
Stannis is going to use that money to buy cell swords.
not
Um,
just that. They figured out a long time ago that you don't need to raise an army. You just need to buy one.
yeah,
And they were smart enough to do both.
yeah,
Instead of an
Brian.
army, they've got a bunch of cell swords. Like the Golden Company is
Yeah,
huge.
but see, the Golden
And
Company, once they take a contract, they never break it.
hmm
Um,
and that's what I'm saying. They had a deal with something to do. I can't remember exactly where it was. I was looking for it this morning because I knew
mhm.
it would come up. With the Targaryens.
Yes, they were.
Um,
Well, not with the Targaryens. Actually, it was with it was actually with the Blackfires because they were created by
Yeah.
um
Yeah, it's a
God,
Blackfire. Yeah.
what was the guy who was always against Bloodraven? Bittersteel.
Mm.
Bittersteel created the Golden Company. So they were mostly ex Westeroses and Blackfires at the beginning. And now they're mostly generations of ex,
Because
people that were
I
born.
can guarantee that there's going to be a relic or a sword or something or other that Aegon is going to get from
Hmm.
them, so they've
Yeah.
fulfilled their debt, and they're going to use that to legitimize him.
Well, I'm trying to remember. So, okay.
Because there's a bunch of swords that are still missing.
Well, there's two major ones. So you have Dark Sister,
Dark Sister's
which
missing.
is with went north with Bloodraven, so he may still have it in his cave. Um, and then there's the King's Sword, which is called, I can't remember the name of the King's Sword.
Aegon's
So
sword.
Aegon's the Conqueror's sword.
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember where that went. I don't know if Bittersteel has it, and he might then, because the golden, maybe Bittersteel
Sorry,
did take it.
I just want you can't remember the name of Aegon's sword.
Yeah, I don't think it was called Aegon's sword. It was
No, there was literally an entire rebellion based
oh, the
on.
it's Blackfire, isn't it? I'm an idiot.
That's what I mean.
So
I think they've got that sword.
well,
That's what I'm saying.
Damon Blackfire, I believe, was given that sword by um Aegon the Unworthy, his father. And when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
died,
Aegon
I
the
think
Fifth.
Bittersteel took it. So I definitely think, and I don't remember if it's in the
Because
sample chapter one of
it was lost during the Blackfire Rebellion.
right, but
Um, but I think in my head, I think that the Golden Company and
they
Nightwing,
have it.
I I think they have that, and I
Oh,
think
definitely.
they're just waiting.
That's
It's
his
their big
key.
safety deposit. Yeah, it's the key. And I think when um if it's Fagon or Opus 3 or Aegon, either way, when Aegon
Yeah.
comes back or whoever gets it, like
Mm-hmm.
if we get the Golden Company, that gets hired by say Cersei or someone like that to go and hunt down Jon and Daenerys.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sword will be taken on that journey and either given to them
Right.
to legitimize, or it'll be used to kill them. There's something with that sword. The sword has been mentioned a lot,
Yeah.
as
Well, it's
something
the
that's,
proof you're the king.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's as close as the sword that comes out of the stone.
Yes. And Fagon's going to have it.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
I
makes me
mean,
think that if he has it, I think I think it's a double twist with it. I
yeah.
think that they know that he's not a legitimate heir, but I still think somewhere along the line he actually is.
Yeah.
And
Same
everyone's
here, dude. Same here.
everyone's
Because
been
we
caught
all
like,
think he's not. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And like, did did Varys really switch out the baby before he got smashed against the wall? It's hard to believe that actually happened, but you never know.
did he have a
And
spare baby with him?
even if he's not Targaryen, right, spare baby, even if he's not Targaryen, he has Targaryen blood most likely through the
Yeah.
female line of the Blackfires. Because they said after the last Blackfire rebellion, where you had something the monstrous, the guy with like a little head on his shoulder,
Yeah, yeah.
he was, yeah, the male line ended there, but the female line did not. And there's
Yeah.
also, you have Targaryens that were um, sent to kicked out from like what's his name's daughter, the old
Oh,
kings.
the one who ended up being a whore
Yeah.
in over
So
in,
I mean,
yeah.
but I actually think the Blackfire female line survived, and I mean a lot of people think this survived down through Iliad
Hmm.
Payne or Iliad, whatever his name, the freaking magistrate. His wife was a Blackfire, and
But
that's
that's the thing. Like they are still Targaryen. That people
yeah,
say, well, they're illegitimate. I'm like, yes,
but
they're
they aren't.
bastards, but they're
They're not even
still
bastards.
Targaryens.
No,
No, but I
he
mean that's what.
legit. They're Blackfires.
The problem
but they
is that
are, they're like,
he legitimized everyone. That was the
yes.
problem. Yeah,
And Daemon took the name Blackfire, but he's a
yeah,
legitimized Targaryen.
yeah,
That's the thing that people don't realize. Like, oh, they're Blackfires. They're not real. No, he legitimized them. It was just Daemon Targaryen, which he would have been after being
yeah.
legitimized, took the name Blackfire. But they're not illegitimate Targaryens. They're
No, but I'm
they're
saying
legitimate.
to the world within
Yes, yeah.
itself.
Oh, I
Yeah, that's
agree
what I'm
with
saying.
you.
Yeah,
But I don't think people really talk about that. I've never heard anybody actually talk about how the Blackfires aren't, they're not bastards, and they're not, yes, they are a house they call Blackfire, like a cadet house in a way,
yeah,
but they actually are legitimate Targaryens because they were legitimized by Aegon. He didn't have to take the name Blackfire. He could have called himself Daemon Targaryen, but he decided to use the name Blackfire after the sword that he was given by his father. That's why everyone assumed he should be king because his brother Daron looked like a Martell and Daemon Blackfire looked like a Targaryen. And that's why
yeah.
he got so much support and was pretty much pushed into starting a rebellion.
Mm.
Um,
And that's
it's an interesting one.
why, going back to the thing, that's why I think that Fagon is actually a legitimate heir,
Mm-hmm.
because he's even dyeing his hair. They're showing everything that he's not,
Mm-hmm.
yet
Yeah,
he's been raised like a king.
yeah. Well, who? Aegon?
Yeah.
He was raised like a commoner,
No, no,
but
I'm saying he not raised,
was raised as a
trained.
king. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, he was taught to be the
to be
best
taught to be
of what,
kingly. Yeah.
yeah, to be what's best of a king,
Well,
and
yeah. It's the
you see it too.
same way as egg.
Yeah, yes, in a way, yeah. Um, Aegon, even if he isn't what people want, they think he's a fake. He's not. He's a Targaryen, and Blackfire in name only if he is. Um, but no matter what, is it the blood or the man, that makes the king? He is everything we see from him from the sample chapters. He's a great battlefield commander. He leads his men, like he makes kingly decisions. And I think that's what's going to be the sad thing for his end is that Dany will never accept him as a Targaryen because in her mind,
Agreed.
Blackfires are bastards.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
That
usurpers. Yeah.
that's my initial point is what I was getting at.
Yeah. Um,
And also, it's a good character. It's a character who you look at and you go, that's a good person.
right.
You're like,
Yes.
oh yeah, yeah. He's going out in the most horrible way possible.
You know it too. He's going to
Yeah,
either get eaten by a dragon, burned by the dragon alive, something terrible is going to happen. And it's going to be the moment we all say, "Wow, okay, Dany shouldn't have done that." And
yeah,
that's where we're going to see, "Wow, she has done some really, tyranty type things, but we've all agreed with it because we knew the backstory."
yeah.
But
He saves a bunch of people. He saves someone close to her. He does something or other like that,
yeah,
and she realizes and immediately just orders his death in front of
yep,
everyone.
yep,
And then she's trying to explain, no, but he's like, it doesn't like, no, he just saved everyone. What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Or she may end up burning him alive because she realizes John Con has grayscale,
Yeah,
and in her mind, to stop a pandemic, she sets fire to the people she believes has been in contact with him, but she makes the wrong decision, something like that. But
ah,
you know what
well,
I
that
mean? Like
actually
I thought
season
about
8
that.
makes sense now.
Yeah,
The bells
it's
that
the
were ringing,
bells,
it
damn
was
bells.
actually the CDC saying the whole city was
Yep,
infected, and she's
yep,
like, not on my watch. I'm going to save these people, and
yep,
that's why she
yep.
burnt. Because as you know, like the virus of unknown origin, it
Uh huh.
died after a certain temperature of heat.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
she
could
just
burn
thought
the
the
shit
same.
out of it, or if she really cared, she could just peel it off. But she doesn't have the medical technique that Sam has. So, you know, um,
Which
I like
doesn't make any
cryptic.
sense because it's not on your skin. Your skin turns into stone. You can't
Yeah.
peel off your. You'd be literally just
So
peeling off your skin. You'd be
yeah.
big. Ramsey would do a better job because at least he'd remove your skin.
Yeah. If you rip that grayscale off, it would actually just open you up to so many
So many
viruses,
more, yeah,
you know? Cryptic Charm says, after what she's been through, they better not kill off Jane. She deserves so much better. Yeah, I know she does. They'll kill her. Whose artwork is that? Are you talking about our background or the one that's like anime? Because both were Mr. Grant Gregory. That's Mr. Grant Gregory. And I'm going to take us out for a minute so you can see it. Go back to the other one. This is also Mr. Grant. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Sansa needs to die though. She won't. Yeah. 11 Alpha says it too. Blackfire is in the hands of
Yeah.
the Golden Company.
I don't remember reading that anywhere or just coming to that conclusion, or someone told it to me once, but yeah.
Right. We talked about it a long time ago that Bitter Steel was the last to have the sword. So it just makes sense. They, I think after that last Blackfire Rebellion, he does retreat. No, I don't even know if he, yeah, he join that last one? There's one
He wasn't even a part of the fifth one.
no, the one he's not a part of is the one in the novellas. The one that gets
That's
before
the one you're talking about, right?
No. The last Blackfire Rebellions after that. There was 6 of them.
Right. Yeah. So the fifth one he wasn't a part of. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 4th or 5th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, it might have even been 3rd or 4th because Egg deals with like 2 or 3 of them. He deals with the last one definitely, and maybe the second to last one. Biggles typically sporking. This is what happens when he doesn't talk anime with Biggles. After Daredevil's over, which it's a show, we'll have a Thursday night. All right, buddy.
You told me it was going to be good.
It was good at the beginning, and it's all right, it's not terrible. I don't know what it is yet. I really don't. There's people that pointed out stuff that made it worse for me, but before that, I was like, oh, I didn't even notice. Yay, it's good. And then I was like, shit, I can't read other people's tweets or posts. Yeah, Cryptic, I agree. I hope Arya dies because she trained as an assassin. It would be unexpected. It would be cool if she gets assassinated.
It
No,
builds up to
she's
the big
trained in the books.
confrontation that she's going to have, and she goes running in, and then one of the others just grab her by the neck and just snap it. Like she does the exact same move. She jumps over the shoulders, everything like that. They see her, they grab her, and they snap her neck.
Yeah. Arya has trained in the books a lot, Brian. She's thing
she's
with
there now.
She's there now training. The sample chapter is part of her training. She's been training for like 3 books now. The thing is though, he never passes their tests, but yet keeps getting promoted to the next phase. So it's almost like they really don't care if she becomes no one. They make it seem like it, but they pass her no matter what she ends up doing in the test. And I think that's because they just need her to be able to take a face and they have something they need her to do to get close to someone. I don't know who it'll be, but
because the one thing that they don't have usually is access. They've got to try and find their way to get access to something. But having someone like Arya,
right,
that's a huge thing. Like you could literally get to the king.
right, yeah, yeah, definitely. Maester Aemon and Aegon the Fifth had 2 sisters who had children. None of them made it though. I think
No, they're all killed though.
the majority of them died in Summerhall, and then the remaining Targaryens died after the rebellion or during the rebellion. Are they fireproof too? No, Targaryens fireproof.
No, yeah.
Danny, that George has come out and said the birthing of Danny's dragons was a magical moment, which we all think was blood magic, because of Mary Masdul, Tyrion, her burning Mary Masdul alive, her unborn son or her born dead son, and the body of Drogo. So that was the three.
Yeah. She sacrificed three. She sacrificed three bodies to bring three dragons there, and the
Yeah,
dragons coming to life as the mother of the dragons gave her the protection to survive the fire.
yeah, because she gets burned in the fighting pits
Mm-hmm.
in the fifth book. Um, when they try to assassinate her with poison locusts or something like that, they ate
Her
honey
husband.
locusts. Her husband may have, but it was for both of them. If Beliawaz or whatever his name is ate
He
him and
took a
got
sip
sick.
of wine beforehand. He already had the antidote. He wouldn't share his drink with anyone. It's pretty fucking
Hmm.
obvious.
It probably was. I don't think so though. I think they want us to think that. Um, but they got attacked in the fighting pits. She got burned when she went to grab Drogon to fly away. So her hands did get burned. So they're not fireproof, but can they deal with heat better than normal people? Yes. Just like the Starks of Winterfell deal with cold better than, Southerners.
And those
Um,
from the Erie deal with altitude.
yeah, yeah, something like that. What's up, Butcher? Um,
Heyo.
oh, she likes the anime one. Uh, I should probably say the Blackfire is presumed to be with the Golden Company, but there's nothing officially known. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Like, I don't. I know I haven't read it, but
Hmm.
I know I came to that conclusion.
I don't think
So,
your mic's low, but he's saying it's low.
all right, I'll
Oh,
get a
that's
bit
better.
closer.
Right there. House Black and White DEI program, maybe.
That's what the others are.
uh, yeah, some people thought that too, that the wave took Arya's face. She did act weird. There was weird. That show sucked. Um,
Was that before or after she got stabbed in the stomach and then decided to do parkour for the rest of the episode?
yeah, right. There's people that think the waif actually killed Arya in the book because she doesn't act like herself. But I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't
I think
remember. We
I think
talked about it before, but I don't
that
remember it.
would be a massive thing. Like
Plot
they
twist.
finally get a final plot twist and everything. You've already got someone pretending to be Arya, and then those two meet up, and it turns out that neither of them are Arya, and that the big tragedy is Arya died 2 books ago.
Hmm. Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Also,
Alpha. Alpha says no. Literally known nothing canonically about the fate of Princesses Ray and Dahlia.
Diella.
Diella. Were not listed among Summerhall's casualties, and Master Aemon specifically notes that they had children too. Okay, I did not know that. I thought they were all dead. I thought they-
Yes, it was yeah.
Hmm. I don't know.
Because I think like if you want to go to for a subversion of a character or something like that, that's the way to go about it.
Mhm.
Like we have characters who transform into other characters
Uh-huh.
in this series. Like that's not a it's not a new concept. But I think if they were to do that with Arya, I think that would be really really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know they said that they can't wear a face for too long and everything like that. I'm wondering if there's something about wearing a face and taking on someone's personality, whether you start to become that person
If you wear it long enough.
if you wear it long enough.
Mhm.
Because for me, the interesting thing would be she was to, if Arya was to get killed and
Mhm.
she was to take a face, she's now going to be Arya for like a year or something like that. And she now
Right.
starts acting more like her.
Well, if you do take the face, not just change with using prosthetic, like
Mm.
when Arya does it the first time, I believe we're told like she gets memories of that
Yeah.
person. Yeah. So in a way, if you do it long enough, you are no one. You become that person. So I mean, true assassins of the House of Black and White, the faceless men, like they really do become no one. So when they become somebody, they are that person. Just like
I
what's his name that Arya gets the coin from?
yeah,
Jaqen
yeah. I feel like the term no one is a little bit of a misdirect. I feel like they
Hmm.
become more than one is probably a better
Yeah, right.
terminology, where their individual version of themselves doesn't exist anymore because you've now got memories and feelings
Hmm.
and desires from 10, 15, 20, 30 people.
Right.
That's why they're also like zen-like and calm, because they've got to find a way to calm their thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to get to that place, you're right.
You'd have to like it,
Yeah.
and she spent so long there that there's got to be a big payoff, and I don't think it's like what they did in the show. Like,
No, she's not going to just run away and use these powers for her own and never,
but no,
never
use
have to
them
deal
once
with
and then
her
never use
leaving.
them again.
Well,
She
but
used them,
also, well, she used it, what, for the phrase?
and then when did she use it ever again?
I don't, she didn't, right? No, she used, oh man. I thought she used it one time in Winterfell in the show. But no matter what, if she is training as no one, gets as far as she did in the books, and then skedaddles, you know, runs away, finds Needle where she hid it, and runs. No way they're not going to come after her. I don't know. Wait a minute, Grant. We might see Arya remove her face, and it's that guy he looks up to. What guy? I'm lost.
Jahar,
Chuck and Hagar?
yeah.
Maybe. Uh, Becoming the Mask, hanging out with Ed Sheeran, that would twist anyone. Yeah. Oh, I forgot he was in it. I did live in the show that Arya basically robbed the joint. She took all those faces. Um,
I think
yeah,
they would fucking come after her.
they would definitely come after her. I mean, I sometimes think the girl with Danny. I don't know.
Missandei.
Yeah, Masande might be a faceless man, but we're going to wrap it up because it's almost at the 2 hour mark and I want automatic shorts made. So I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Grant, that was a lot of fun. Um, we'll be back Thursday night for maybe Daredevil. And I hope you all have,
Still haven't watched it yet.
yeah, it's okay. I don't mind it. But I hope you all have a good night. Take care, everybody.
Okay,
Sorry
see
to
you, bye.
stop so short, but we got 10 seconds or so. Bye. Okay, stop right there before you move. Where's the best place for content on the world of Ice and Fire?
Right over there. See where I am pointing with my dagger? I just found
Sporking